who is an educator of emotional balance, mindfulness, and meditation. He believes in transforming all the layers of a personality of a person, may it be physical, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual. He had been providing personal coaching and coaches for complete growth of a person through intra and interpersonal well-being, and this has been a tremendous effort from his to our society and has changed people's life to a great extent. We wish you all the success in your life and also that you keep up with the good work, sir. Mr. Bansal has engaged to deliver his talks throughout India at different reputed institutions and has also addressed the students in various ATAL FDP programs. So, without further delay, let us welcome Mr. Vivek Bansal, sir, to talk on the topic Unlocking Our True Potential. May I now request Mr. Bansal, sir, to kindly take over the session. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Uh, am I audible? It's fine? Okay, good. Yeah. Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir. Visible.
Okay, thank you. So, thank you very much again. And I am really excited and very happy to share something related to this topic which is given to me, unlocking our true potential. So when we talk about potential, this can be addressed from various angles, from various point of views. The approach which I'm going to take in this presentation is mostly first trying to find out what is blocking us to go ahead, what is stopping us to move ahead, what is limiting us in our life to reach to the heights which we dream, which we aspire, which we aim, which we plan. And there are many layers in our personality. First is physical personality, physical layer, which is also called physical quotient, PQ. We have intelligent personality, IQ, intelligent quotient. We have a spirit and a spiritual personality, which is called SQ, spiritual quotient. And there is very important in day-to-day life in dealing with oneself and with others, which is called emotional quotient, EQ. So there are many things in life which don't allow us to really achieve what we are looking for. And in technical philosophical terms, we call it conditioning. And here I am sharing with you to begin with two examples or small stories kind of things to understand what actually limit us based on conditioning. So here you see in the slide first I've written eagle's egg among chickens. So once what has happened is uh, once eagle's egg, one of the egg, it fell among chickens. And it started growing among chickens. It was hatched by chickens. It started growing. And the small eagle came out with chickens. And being with chickens, although it is an eagle, but she started behaving like other chickens, other hens. Not able to fly high in the sky because she's not realizing her potential. And little bit go into the air, then come down, imitating other chickens. Until a day in the forest, one person comes and he sees this odd thing happening there. And he takes the eagle and try to make her fly high in the sky. But she is not flying high. She again comes down. Then he didn't want to give up. He took the eagle to the cliff of the mountain, started showing the sky, so many other eagles flying, and then he just threw the eagle into the air. And now, eagle had no other option than to push herself to the limits, take the wings out, and now she'll start flying. So here, two things are there. One is like forgetting one's own potential, and second thing is you need some mentor or some kind of friend or someone who can encourage us, motivate us, make us realize our true potential. And second thing, we need sometimes some situations in life, some challenges in life where we are forced to bring best out of us. Another example which I have written here is elephant tied to a pole. I mean here is a baby elephant when it's just born is tied to a pole with a rope. And then that rope's strength and size is enough to hold the elephant, the small baby elephant. But when elephant start growing up day by day, week after week, elephant is growing in size, elephant is growing in strength. But elephant is not realizing that now I'm strong enough to break this rope. I'm strong enough to make myself free from this rope because elephant has developed a kind of conditioning, a conditioning where uh, elephant is convinced that I cannot break this rope. So there are many conditionings. Conditioning means which we get conditioned to the kind of environment, kind of thought process, kind of belief system, and we just start thinking, I am this. So here, if you see, I have written some behaviors, belief systems, emotions, or thought patterns which hold you back and prevent you from doing what you want to do. That's what start limiting us. And we have developed these behaviors and belief systems and emotions and thought patterns throughout our life based on our culture, based on our upbringing, based on our family, based on our surroundings, many things. And they become part of our personality. And most of those things are borrowed from others, from society and everything. So we need to first understand that what are my belief systems and thought patterns are which don't allow me to do something different, do something beyond what I think about myself. And what do we do when we limit ourselves? This is also very important to understand before we go ahead. In this situation, when we start limiting ourselves because of various experiences and things which we hear about us from others and many other things, there is a tendency people develop that they start losing confidence in their life. And when you don't have enough confidence, there is a tendency which comes. First one is blaming others when things go wrong. It is not like not taking responsibility of one's own actions and one's own decisions. And people have a tendency, if something goes wrong, to find somebody to put blame on that person or try to prove oneself I am right and this and that. Now, some situations you have to clarify. I'm not saying that every time you don't have to speak, or like say if you have not done something wrong and your boss is um, accusing you or your colleagues are accusing you, then you have to clarify yourself. But there is a tendency some people develop, then they find some easy way out. Now, the problem is that when you find an easy way out and you just shrug the responsibility and put blame on somebody and don't take the responsibility of that thing on yourself, we lose the chance to grow in life. We can grow in life when we try to find out in every situation where did I do something wrong or what can I do better next time. So when we take responsibility, even if somebody else has been involved and that person also played his or her part in that particular situation, but you always are in a mindset that where can I grow, where can I do something better tomorrow. Or another thing which may happen is choosing to walk away when things don't go smoothly. Some people, whenever any challenge or any some difficult situation come, they find an easy way out, like resigning from a job or not continuing with a particular kind of profession, or persistence is missing. And without enough persistence, keep pursuing something with persistence, we cannot actually succeed, because many times things may go wrong, many times you may not succeed. But if you are sure that this is what your path is and you keep putting your energy into it, then one day definitely you will reach to your situation. And for that, we cannot just always expect smooth sailing. Procrastination is another thing which many people do because of lack of having enough worth. They don't have that enough self-worth and lack of confidence, that they think that, okay, I'll do it, maybe I'll do it after a week, after a month, maybe I'll start it after 1 year. Maybe it's maybe a publishing a paper or joining some new course or switching to new career or anything related to relationship also. So this procrastination also develops, in many people life, and they just keep postponing, thinking that I'll do it later on. But the root cause is many times they don't have enough confidence or they don't have enough self-worth about themselves. Picking fights with friends or partners. Now this is something serious. What happens when person doesn't connect once with oneself, one's own needs and feelings, then how can you expect that person to connect with another person's feelings and needs? And there is a lot of frustration is there, and misunderstanding in the relationship. This also happens because we have started limiting ourselves without realizing what actually I'm looking for. So there is a great importance, or you can say requirement, to understand one's own feelings and emotions and needs and behaviors, and the way I think about others, because sometimes people develop some kind of tendency toward others, to the way they think about others. And some people, again, because of the lack of self-worth, they find trouble stating their own needs. They feel, I don't deserve it, I am how can I ask for it? They don't even know what they're looking for. And the worst, which is the last one, is putting yourself down. Person has that great internal inferiority complex kind of thing. It may be guilt also, you have been carrying for years together. And person doesn't have very good feeling about oneself. When you get up in the morning, when you look into the mirror, what thoughts comes to your mind, what emotions come to your mind about yourself, about your day, about your whole overall persona? From physical point of view, from emotional point of view, from intellectual point of view. Some people think, I'm not good enough, I'm not beautiful enough, I'm not good in this, I'm not good in communication, I'm not good in business, whatever. So these things we have gathered, mostly the patterns which we have learned in childhood, and then we grow on them, we actually keep accumulating more and more layers on it. But if you go deep down, that's why it is said the children, they're like wet mud, and the way you can give the shape to the mud, in the childhood. So the shape is given. So it's very crucial to understand what kind of patterns I have gathered in my childhood. Now you will say, why it's required? No, it's important to understand, because in the iceberg which we see in the water, only one very small tip of the iceberg is on the surface, and most of the part of the iceberg is below water. Similarly, in our personality, the personality which we are accessing, which we are understanding about ourselves, or other understanding about ourselves, is a very small part of it which is seen externally. And if you go deep down in your personality and you start observing that how you behave and how you react, how you think and how you believe, so those are patterns which we develop. Mm. And many patterns we develop because of the relationship dynamics also. Like if somebody is born in a family where relationship between father and the son has been very authoritative, like, or say another member, leader of the family is very authoritative. So there is a possibility the child may develop a kind of pattern or thought process that if I want to be successful in life, then I have to have a lot of authority or power in my hand. Or somebody may develop aversion towards anybody who is an authoritative position. Like people make general statement, like all these people who are sitting on the post, they are this, that, they call some bad words about them. They have some skeptical thoughts about them. Or if somebody is born in a family where money is given too much importance, then person may just grow up with the thought that if you want to be happy in life, you should have just money. Money is the only thing. Money is very important. Money is a medium of exchange of energy in this world, but there are many other aspects of life also. Or somebody into a relationship where, let's say, boy and girl into a loving relationship or a marital relationship like husband and wife, on the name of pleasing another person, you just keep on living a life where you don't pay attention to your own needs, your own feelings, because you have a fear that I don't want to lose this relationship. And in the course of that, you may just lose connection with yourself. You may end up with somebody who you are not. So there are many things which I'm just giving you a few examples because this 2 hours program is just to give you awareness. In 2 hours we can't cover much, but just to give you some pointers that the area where you have to think and start observing your life and begin your journey towards your inner personality, which you can change, then real change can happen. Many times people keep changing their externals and surroundings, they learn some skills, but unless we change our inner software, I call it inner software, inner coding, all this is the inner software of our personality. And if coding is wrong in a software, then output is wrong. And what is the wrong output? Wrong output is wrong expectation which we have from ourselves, wrong expectation which we have from the universe, from people. Or there are many other things, like people have wrong ideas about happiness, wrong ideas about relationships, wrong ideas about career, whatever. So all those things we need to start observing. Fear of failure. Some people develop this fear of failure because we all fail. I mean, everybody fail at some particular point of their life, whether in academics. Failing is not means failing means like failing with very bad marks. Failing may be like you were expecting a result and it came below that, or you were preparing for a competitive exam and you cannot succeed. Or they can be a failure in the business, or they can be a failure in the relationship. And at that time, if person is not given enough support, emotional support or moral support or financial support, person may start losing confidence in oneself. Then because of this fear of failure, person develops a kind of tendency. What is a tendency? That person is fearful to take risk in life. Now we should not take blind risk, but definitely in life we have to take some calculative risk. We have to take a leap of faith. So there's a great need to tackle, to deal with this fear which is stopping us to go ahead in life. That what if I fail, what if this happened, what if this happened, that happened. So that's also a kind of limiting thing, which may be there, one of the behavior or belief system. And all of this put together leads to lack of emotional strength, my dear friends. And lack of emotional strength is very destructive, very delimiting, because person may be very intelligent, but if person is not strong emotionally, then in difficult times person may not be able to perform. There are many people who are very talented, but somehow they don't get too much success or lots of success when they are practically on the field dealing with other people in the teams or in the corporate world or in the academic world or in the nation, politics or whatever. So that inner emotional strength is very much required. And that emotional strength we call actually in technical language emotional intelligence. And what is this emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence is the way you perceive, uh, understand, express, and manage emotions. So it's very important that we start observing. our own emotions, start perceiving them, understanding them, managing our negative emotions, managing our positive emotions, which we will talk in great detail in our presentation after a few minutes. But the idea is that, and it's important because the more you understand these aspects of yourself, the better your mental health and social behavior will be. And when we are mentally strong, emotionally strong, when we are dealing with other people nicely, then there's great opportunity to grow. Because growing alone in this world, person can grow on their own also, but that limits at after some time. We need to learn to work with others. We need to learn to collaborate with others. Even in the family is a all emotions going on over there, with your wife, with your husband, with your children, with your parents, with your relatives. And unless we have this emotional strength and emotional intelligence, we cannot motivate ourselves, we cannot motivate others. We may not have empathy for others because we may not be able to understand the pain which other people are going through, the difficulties which people are going through. Empathy means trying to put yourself in other people's shoes and feel what that person is going through. If you are the manager of a company, head of the department of in a college, and you have many people under you, and if you don't have that emotional intelligence to understand what that person is feeling and going through emotionally, it will be very difficult to maintain a good relationship or motivate or um, just encourage that person. And then social skills, sometimes people think it's just like the way you dress yourself and go to the parties, and you have a lot of social friends, and nowadays we have social media. But that is only one small part of it. In social skills again comes down to how you are able to connect with other people at emotional level, because ultimately social life is the real social life, which is very intimate. Social life is where you have some people in your life with whom you are confident to share your emotions, understand their emotions, connect with their emotions, and then you have a strong social support, social system around you. So unless we learn to invest emotionally, we may not expect that emotional support from other people, even if between husband and wife. And then our boss or his employee, or owner or his employee, everywhere this emotional intelligence is very important. Emotional intelligence, another aspect also, which is called self-regulation. If person is not feeling good about oneself, person is not having enough confidence, then even the bring the discipline, regulation, and push oneself become difficult. And what to speak of self-awareness, where you're totally aware of your own feelings and emotions, and you plan your day, you plan your week, what you're going through, whom to meet, whom not to meet, what I'm going through right now in this time, and then share with your friends and partner what you're going through, because you cannot be same all the time. That's not possible, because emotionally we are always changing. Even physically we are changing. I would like to address right now what kind of things I can handle right now. If somebody is going through a tough phase where somebody has just lost his or her very dear one, so that time that awareness is very important. What is my emotional state? And even we need to be aware of other people emotional state so that we can deal with this sensitivity. So all these things come into emotional intelligence, and people who lack emotional intelligence are more likely to just react without giving themselves the time to weigh up the pros and cons of a situation. I read again, this is a very important line. People who lack emotional intelligence are more likely to just react without giving themselves the time to weigh up the pros and cons of the situation. We will be talking more about it, reactive behavior and responsible behavior. But the idea is that when we don't have enough emotional intelligence, we just react to the situations. We just react to different people behaviors. It may be like somebody is trying to tell something, and we may feel insulted, we may feel angry, we may feel disturbed, we may feel guilty, and we start taking unnecessarily extra heavy load of things which may not be required, which can be easily released, which can be easily ignored. Like many times people just keep on carrying some guilt for years together, keep on carrying some hurt for years together, or they just, and you can predict their behavior, that if you say like this to this person, he will shout. If you say like this to this person, he may get angry. So we should not be like that, we just react. We need to have that emotional strength to manage our emotional stuff. So first thing which I would suggest you here is, from solution point of view, in between I'll keep giving you some solutions also. First thing, my dear friends, please start observing what sets you off. Each one of us has some trigger points in life. Each one of us get triggered because of certain kind of behavior, certain kind of words, certain kind of situations, and we need to be totally aware about those kind of triggering points or triggering situations or triggering words, so that you can be extra careful if you are going into that particular kind of situation. And you can also plan in advance by doing a technique called role play. Role play means, if you know that in this particular kind of situation where I go in front of that person, and if that person is start talking something which I don't like, I get angry or upset. So maybe you can role play of that particular situation in your own room when you're alone, and you can imagine and that particular situation, and you can practice. Because practice, 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 that's what everybody says. And what practice you can do, you can practice a certain kind of behavior which is more suitable, and not just being carried away by emotions which take you in a negative direction. So, and certain kind of words which triggers you, because many time people are born in different kind of environment and culture and family, and some words we just cannot handle. Each word carry energy with them, and that energy depends on how much weightage of particular kind of emotions you're giving to that word. So need to again understand that which words triggers you. So anytime you come across with somebody who uses that kind of word, that instead of just getting triggered by that word, you can try to take a moment or try to think a moment and see what his person is trying to say, not just the word, because people sometimes just catch the word. Oh, you told me like this, you called me this, and that person says, no, I didn't mean that. So instead of he saying or she saying, I didn't mean that, we need to also learn to understand the intentions and not get triggered just by hearing once a particular word. So this is called empathy. Now I move to the something more interesting. So if you want to deal with your inner personality, we need to understand connection between among body, mind, intelligence, and soul. you know we have different layers in our personality. As I said, body is like this external body which you're seeing. Each one of us, we have five senses. We have eyes, nose, skin, tongue, ears. We have different kind of features, the looks, whatever. Then we have mind, which cannot be seen, but mind is a seat of all the emotions and desires and different experiences that is stored there. And then we have intelligence, which is a faculty to discriminate. It's like a driver to take you in the right direction. Intellect, discrimination, basically. And then we have soul, the real personality, real uh, personality, which is full of happiness and bliss and soul, complete our inner core. That's why we say inner core is always happy, but we are covering ourselves with many other layers and making ourselves miserable. So this connection we'll try to understand from this picture which you see here. So this picture is kind of an analogy. We are using it, and analogy sometimes gives a good understanding in a pictorial form. So here, if you see, there are five horses, and there is a driver, and there is a passenger. You see on the chariot. So this whole chariot is compared to our personality, where five horses are compared to our five senses: eyes, nose, tongue, skin, and ears. And the driver, which is sitting on this chariot, is compared to the intelligence. And passenger is compared to the soul. the real inner self, and the whole chariot is our body, kind of. And these reins are mine. Now imagine these five horses are very powerful, too powerful, you know, and they are pulling the chariot in all five different directions. And unfortunately, driver is very skinny and weak and unable to control the horses. Unable to control the horses. So what will happen to the passenger? Passenger will go crazy. The chariot will lose the balance, chariot will lose the control, and then passenger will be in trouble. So this is what happens in most of our lives at many point, that our senses pulls us in all the directions, and we don't have that sharp intelligence to decide where to go and where not to go. And especially in today's time, the media and the social media or TV or different kind of ads which are there in the, and the senses are pulled, and we just want to have too many things. Even if we don't need them, we want to have them. So that's what is happening. People have access to too much information, and that too much of information, explosion of information because of information technology, everything is available, and everybody is trying to watch different kind of things. And when you keep watching different kind of thing, different kind of desires develop, and there is a flow chart of losing control of your life. Now this is a very interesting flow chart. uh, please try to look at it. It's very simple, but it's very interesting. You can easily relate with it. Everything start at the thinking stage, my dear friends. Everything is start, whatever thoughts are, what we are thinking. And when we start contemplating the objects of the senses. Now, what is this objects of the senses? Looks very technical kind of word. Object of the senses means like we had five senses, as I told you in the previous picture. Our eyes, our nose, our tongue, our skin, and our ears. And each sense has object. Like for eyes, the object is sight. Somebody has to unmute herself. So, sorry, mute. So by contemplating the object of the senses means every sense has an object, like eyes have sight, some beautiful things to look at. Ears have sound, some beautiful sound to hear. And skin has the object, some soft object to touch and feel and experience. A nose is attracted to so many different kind of fragrances and everything. And tongue, or to speak of tongue, want to taste so many kind of dishes and all that. So when you look at an ad, let's say there is an ad of advertisement of one particular dress or one particular kind of car or motorbike or whatever we see. So our attention is pulled and we keep thinking about it because that has been shown to us again and again and again. And when you keep looking at it, you keep thinking at it, you go to the street, you see the same object on a billboard, you go to the laptop and you know surfing the net and suddenly something comes out the same thing, then you start developing attachment for it, and that attachment is the stage where you develop some feelings, feelings for it. And when the feeling comes, then there is an obsession to have it. And that's where lust come into picture. Lust is obsession to have something, willingness, I want to have it. Now the problem is that sometimes we are too much exposed to the objects, too much data is going in, but intelligence is not strong enough to discriminate that what is behind the scene. You understand? What is behind the scene? Like if somebody is selling something on the online or outside, we just get attracted to the externals. And when you don't get it somehow, let's say you are attracted to a particular person or particular object, then it results to anger. And when a person is angry, it leads to delusion, and the delusion leads to bewilderment and memory. Person forgets all the past experiences and continue to do the same mistake again and again because there is a loss of intelligence, and the person falls down from her own path, from her own direction. So, and everything started at the contemplation of the object of the senses. That's why we have to be extremely careful. The kind of things which we are hearing, the kind of things which we are watching, kind of things which we are hearing, kind of people we are meeting. We have to be extremely careful of our data entry points, I call them. So, data entry points are these five senses. And through these data entry points, you're constantly taking things inside. Mm. So if we are not careful what we are taking inside, then it will become more difficult to work on at internal level. Although we'll talk about after a few minutes now on mind, after talking the senses, that how what is the nature of the mind and how mind function. But first thing first is entry point itself. We have to be careful. If we are not careful at the entry point, it may become difficult to work later on because it may be too late, because by that time you're already too obsessed to have that particular thing, and that particular thing may not be needed and may not be right for you. So before I go ahead, because I generally like to have some interaction in between also, instead of just doing everything in the end in the question answer. So it would be nice because it's a very practical topic and very relevant to day life. If you can, anybody has something to share or ask something until this point what I have shared or discussed, we can do that for just 2-3 minutes. You can unmute or you can write in the chat box. I'll just taking a break for a minute, or I'll continue after a minute if nobody asks anything. You can even share some experience or some realization which happened to you related to the subject matter which we are discussing. Okay, I think nobody is having any question. That's fine. Okay, so here now comes to the nature of mind. So now you need to understand how our mind function. Many of you may be already having tons of knowledge about it, but few things I want to share with you which make you some more awareness how what is the nature of our mind. First of all, our mind is very chanchal. Chanchal means flickering. Chanchal means very restless, like a monkey. You know, monkeys are very much known for their restlessness. They keep jumping from one branch to another branch, one tree to another tree, one place to another place. That's why many people call I have a monkey mind, and this monkey mind doesn't allow me to rest, doesn't allow me to be at peace. And the more we are interacting with too much of information, with the too busy life, mind is becoming more and more active, more and more agitated, and there is not much enough time to give rest to the mind. Constantly mind is a jumping, you know, one thing to another thing, and that creates a lack of peace in life. Then monkeys mind is also compared to a child. The one of the nature of the child is that children are very insistent, they're very obstinate. They want something, they want something, you know, they want to have it. Once something comes to their mind, they won't just, they keep on nagging you, you know, I want this, I want this, I want this. It's called obstinacy. So in mind also, if some thought comes sometime, mind keep on asking for it. I want it, I want it, I want it. So sometimes you have to ignore the child, you know. Similarly, you have to just ignore the mind. If you keep paying attention to everything what mind is asking for, then I don't think person can be happy. Accepting and rejecting, you know, this is another issue with the mind. Mind is very flickering, as I told you before also. It's called sankalpa and vikalpa. Like mind likes something today, and after 5 days or after 2 days or after few hours, mind start rejecting it. Simple example is you go to the mall and you spend few hours selecting a dress. You have tried on yourself many dresses and then you really bought a dress with lot of excitement and paying a lot of money, and then you come home, mind says no, I don't like it. Or maybe after a few days mind says I don't like it, just rejecting it. It's called mental flickering mental platform when person mind is uncontrolled. So mind is a very powerful energy. Please understand that it's very strong, powerful energy. And if you have something very powerful with you, so then it depends on you how you use it. If it is not utilized properly, it can destroy us. And if it is utilized properly, it can help us to grow. It can help us to take to the new heights. So please understand that it is a very powerful energy, and if we give some time to train it in the right direction, to develop some kind of skills and meditation skills and mindfulness skills, then we can give the right direction to the mind, this powerful energy. like uh, like we develop generate electricity from wind, we develop electricity from water, because that's what it is. We are actually just giving the direction to that particular uh, air, so that that electricity can be generated with the windmills and everything, turbines in the water. So same way, if we learn to give the direction, right direction, then this powerful energy can be very uplifting. Another thing about the mind, my dear friends, very important, please listen carefully: ability to absorb, like a sponge. Sponge has a nature. If you put a sponge into red color water, it will absorb red color. If you put another sponge into blue color water, it will absorb blue color. So it has very high level of absorbing power. What I mean here is the vibrations and energy in which we are living, we are exposing ourselves, mind start absorbing that energy and vibration. Hmm. And when you absorb that negative energy, if you're surrounded by people who are talking negative stuff, I'll explain what I mean by negative stuff after a few minutes. Then we get disturbed. We start behaving in a way which is again not very conducive for emotional growth and spiritual growth and overall growth, even to succeed in life. So we have to be careful what we are absorbing, what our, we are exposing ourselves to. Now mind is also like a bird with two wings. What are these two wings? What these two wings do? These two wings take the bird into the past or in future. It's very interesting to make a note and observe. Most of the time people are living into the past or in future. Very rarely people you will find they are really living in the present. You may say, no, what you're talking about. We're living in the present. I'm attending your seminar right now. It's present. We are hearing you. But who knows where your mind is? Some people may be sitting in this lecture, but they may be worrying about what is going to happen tomorrow or what I'm going to do in the evening. Now that worry is useless, frankly speaking, because we need to do planning, but that planning need not to be done whole day. Or you can take a break from 2 minutes from the seminar and plan if you're so worried about what you're going to do at 5 o'clock. So planning for the future is important, but not that you have to keep worrying everything like what if this happens, what if that happened. It's no point, because nobody knows future. We need to just do our best and plan little bit. And many people just have so many insecurities about future. Many people have so many thoughts or worries which will never happen. There is a study which says like most of the things which we worry about may not happen. And you have to learn to observe your thoughts, where they're going. Or about past, what happened in the past. Oh, 5 years back that particular person hurt me emotionally. He told me something, which I can never forget. Why can't you forget? Try to forget. If it is hurting you, forget it. If there is a wound on your knee, It's better to heal it. It's better to cover it, bandage it, and heal it. Apply some medicine on it. If you keep touching it again and again, keep exposing your wound again and again to the bacteria and everything, it will never heal. And this is the thing people do. What they do, fortunately, mind is constantly conversing with itself and replaying the past events and rearranging them into a better drama. Like you just thinking, maybe you gone for a vacation, beautiful beach on the Goa, in Goa, and there everything is so nice, weather is beautiful, breezes are nice, waves are nice, the just sun is beautiful, and you, instead of relishing it, enjoying it, being in the present with that sun and with that water and with that air and with that sand, you are thinking something which happened 3 years back, or you're talking to somebody who is reminding you on phone some negative past experience. So please, my request to you, my dear friends, first, please start catching yourself, whether my how many times in a day, or say at few points, I'm going deep into my past, or I'm too much going into the future. And we need to learn some skills to be in the present. And one of the skill which I want to teach you today is mindfulness breathing. Mindfulness breathing is a very simple technique which can be done anywhere, which can be done, I mean, even in your office, or even if you're traveling in the car or bus, but that's not the ideal place. But I'm just saying that you can do it any point of the day also, like morning, afternoon, evening. The only thing you need to just take out 5 to 6 minutes, and wherever you are, uh, just go into a corner, or maybe just sit on your chair when nobody's there around, like nobody's there to bother you. Keep your phone on silent, and we'll practice it right away. We'll practice it. uh, so wherever you are, I request you, please sit with your back straight, because breath is the most present thing which is happening in our life. And when we start focusing on our breath, we can bring mind into the present eventually. Mind will first jump around, it will go into the past, it will go into the future. But if you keep focusing on your breath, because breath has a direct connection with the mind, breath has direct connection with our emotions, our emotional state, our mental state. If you have observed, I don't know whether you have observed this, you see what kind of breath you have when you're angry, what kind of breath you have when you are sad, what kind of breath you have, breath movement I'm talking about. I'm not saying about the order of the breath, the smell of the breath. I'm talking about the movement of the breath. What kind of breath you have when you are excited, happy, peaceful, relaxed. So if your breath movement changes based on your emotions, so we can do other way around also. We can change our emotional state to some extent, and be in the present by being aware, or by relaxing our breath. So I request you to do this exercise for me just for 5 minutes, or maybe 7 minutes. Let's see how long we do it. Uh, just sit with your back straight wherever you are, because when our back is straight, it's very nice to flow the energy upward, because we have Sushumna Nadi according to yoga, which flows to our spinal cord, and there is a Kundalini energy which rises, from our base of the body, perineum or cervix, based on your gender, which can be uplifted. So it's very nice to sit with the back straight, but back is straight but not stiff. Okay, you don't have to sit tight, stiff. Just keep your back straight and your shoulders are relaxed. Maybe you can roll your shoulders a little bit, take the tensions out of them. You know, maybe move your neck a little bit back and forth, left and right, or maybe clockwise and anti-clockwise, just for a few seconds. Just relax your neck muscles, relax your shoulder muscles. And now keep your hands on your knees. And then close your eyes. And after closing your eyes, the only thing which I'm requesting you to do is connect with your breath. Just observe your breath. Please observe the movement of your breath, how breath is going in and coming out. Not much. Just do it for a minute and then I'll give you further instructions about it. Right now, you're sitting straight with your back is straight. You're either on the ground with your folded legs or you're in the chair. Your hands are on your knees and your neck is relaxed but it's not hanging here and there. The back of your head is in the line of the spinal cord and you are just observing your breath. Now, please inhale deeply now. Inhale deeply means your diaphragm pushes your belly out and your lungs are completely filled with air. Inhale deeply and then exhale slowly and completely. Try to inhale for 4 seconds and try to inhale for 8 seconds, like double the time. If it is possible for you, it's not that easy in the beginning, but try to exhale for longer period of time and try to exhale completely and do deep inhalation now. Deeply inhale and then exhale slowly and completely. Now make your breath rhythmic. Making a breath rhythmic means very simple. Now you inhale just naturally. If you are inhaling in 4 seconds, try to exhale also in 4 seconds. Just make your breath very natural and rhythmic, and your whole awareness is on your breath. Your mind may be going into the past or into the future. Don't worry about it. It will settle down. As your breath will settle down, your thoughts will also settle down. Trust me. Just keep observing the movement of your breath and take your awareness to the inner walls of your nostrils. Take your awareness into the inner walls of your nostrils, which will help you to make your breath more deeper and subtler. Take your awareness to the inner walls of your nostrils, which will make your breath more deeper and subtler. Just do mindful breathing, observing your breath, how you're taking breath in and out. Now, while exhaling, just imagine that you're exhaling all the emotional anxieties. You are exhaling all the worries and anxieties and stress in every exhalation. Just exhale them out. Very natural, mindful breathing, but in every exhalation, you are exhaling all the worries, all the negative stuff, and you're feeling more and more relaxed. Total awareness of your breath. You're feeling more and more relaxed. You're feeling more and more aware of your breath. You're just aware of your breath, nothing else. And now please bring your palms together, rub them nicely, create some heat out of them. After rubbing your palms nicely, take your palms to your eyes, cover your eyes with your palms, and then open your eyes inside the palms and take your palms down. So we just did this particular mindful breathing exercise for like 5 to 7 minutes. I mean, you can just do it this much also. And if you practice it like 2, 3 times in a day, maybe in the morning, afternoon, evening, before going to bed, or maybe in the evening after coming from your office, whenever time, whichever time you feel there's a need to relax and chill down my mind, because there is a great need to relax the mind if you want to function with more energy. This is like only one thing which I'm sharing with you right now, because what happens is mind is like a spring, if you twist it too much, it breaks. So there is a great need to give rest to mind also. Otherwise, it gets heated up like another machine, any other organ. Like if you give too much work to any organ to your body, it start having issue. So similarly, mind is also a subtle organ in our body which need to be relaxed and um, given some time to relax and be at peace. So is there any question now or anything, any experience anybody would like to share or ask something related to this particular exercise before I move to the next thing which I want to share with you? The next topic which I have, which in connection with it, is when mind is uncontrolled and when mind is given wrong kind of training, what kind of tendency mind develops and which becomes more destructive, which pulls you down. Yes, thank you for nice comment on the chat. Mr. Abu liked the exercise. Anybody else before we go ahead? If you have anything to ask at this point related to this exercise or share about this or anything else you are doing it and you're finding difficult to relax your mind, and you can please ask at this point of time before we go further in our more deeper discussion on mind and emotions and releasing the stuff which we are carrying. Okay, nobody, no problem. So this is my next thing which I want to share with you, 3 cancers of mind. Uh, 3 C's basically: comparing, complaining, and criticizing. So, I was talking about the nature of mind, that mind has a tendency to absorb, mind has a tendency to um, go into the past or into the future, or mind has a tendency to jump around. So sometimes what happens, some people develop the tendency to compare, some people develop the tendency to complain, some people develop the tendency of criticizing, or some people develop the tendency of all these three and even more. These are the three things I'm mentioning here. And what is cancer in medical science? If you see, it's not real cancer, it's just a terminology which I'm using. An unnatural growth, unnatural growth which happens uh, of cells. So, if not proper precaution taken, then what happens is, my dear friends, there is an unnatural growth of a particular kind of behavior, particular kind of thought process. Let's say comparing, start with it. Now, if you meet somebody who is very qualified, more qualified than you, or you see someone, then we may develop the tendency to compare ourselves with another person, and we may start feeling low about oneself. And when we feel low about ourselves, then uh, we can't grow in life. Then some people, compare their children with other children, and the child may develop a feeling of, again, not having enough self-esteem, not having self-confidence. Or even adults, even elderly people, they feel low about themselves just by looking at others. But instead of feeling low, we can do something else. We can take inspiration from other people. Those are more qualified. We can see this is an opportunity for me to learn something from this person. Now, complaining is another big problem. Like, some people develop this tendency that they complain about each and everything in life. They complain about weather, they complain about uh, partner, traffic, boss, food. The moment they open their mouth, the only thing which comes out is complaining, cribbing. Now, if you go to a restaurant and you order for food and something is really bad, then definitely you have to talk about it. Definitely you have to tell to the boss, the manager, or the owner of the hotel that there is something wrong here, and because I'm paying for this service. That's perfectly fine. You're paid for something, and that's the delivery is not as per your expectation. You have to complain. But I'm talking about here is a tendency to complain about each and everything in life. Even if you have everything, that person cannot be happy and peaceful and grow in life, because in every time that negative emotion will pull that person down. And these people, other people who are criticizing, they take pleasure in gossiping, backbiting, bitching. And when you criticize others, it only brings negativity, because you are focusing on something negative. And when you focus, the mind, as I told you, mind is a neutral guy. It absorbs very fast. So when you criticize others, you may also develop the tendency to criticize yourself. Many people, they fall into the trap of self-criticism, and that's like very destructive. So how to deal with these? Coming out of comparison mindset, appreciate what you already have. Appreciate what you already have. Each one of us is gifted with something wonderful. Each one of us has so many wonderful things. Like, say, a fish in the water is feeling low by seeing some other is, like, say, fish is saying that I'm not able to climb the tree. It's foolish kind of thought. Or the rose plant is worrying, I have thorns on my plant, on my body. It's foolishness, because so many other plants are dying to have the flower, the fragrance of rose. They don't have that. So appreciate what you already have, then it will be much easy to come out of this comparison mindset. And please remind yourself again and again that we all are different. We are all different. Our body, our mindset, our upbringing, our culture, our surrounding, our way of thinking, and always be in a mood of a student. If somebody is more qualified, somebody is more talented, somebody, then you can be in a mood of a student and work hard and learn some things. And some things are for some people and some things are for other people. First thing you have to realize your own potential means basically that what I'm meant for, what I'm good at. And then you work on it and keep learning on it. If I'm not at this stage right now, maybe I may reach after 5 years, after 10 years. Even if I don't reach, I mean, I'm happy. That's another principle which we'll talk after some time. Focus on small successes. Small successes. What I was 5 years back, what I'm right now. What I was 1 month back, what I'm right now. If you're doing workout, if you're going to gym, you're building your muscles, you have to just focus on small successes. If you're doing yoga, you have to just focus how stiff you were 6 months back and how flexible you are now instead of looking at others. If you're running a YouTube channel, you don't have to see that person has millions of followers. You see, I had like so many 6 months back, and I have so many videos 6 months back, and now I have more than that. And that gives you again to come out of the comparison mindset. If you must compare, compare to yourself. Take inspiration from others instead of feeling guilty or bad about yourself. Accept what you can't change. That is also very important, which I was telling you that we have to, I will tell you one thing, because there are certain things which are difficult to change. That also you need to realize. What are those things? Like say, I can't change my parents, or there are some things like say about my height. Once you grow up to a certain height, you can't change it. Maybe you can transform your body to a certain shape with a lot of workout and everything, but there are still some things which you can't change about your physical looks, and there are certain things which you can't change about your other issues which you need to find out. I cannot want to comment on it right now, but after working hard, after realizing your own potential, if you're aware of your own personality, then you will be very much aware also that what I can't change, and then you just accept them instead of just comparing with others and feeling bad about yourself. Now, what about complaining mindset? Learn to look at everything with more amazement. Have some gratitude. Have some appreciation. Like things are beautiful. Life is not that gloomy. Life is not that dull. The way sometimes mind tells us, or people keep talking about it. Children, we can learn from children. When you go with a child into the forest on a walk, and you see how much amazement the child will be looking at different things and feeling excited. So beautiful sun is rising and so many things are happening in the day in our own life. Why can't we focus on them? Remind yourself that even the simple things are amazing, and the things I complain about, even out of them we can find out if we remind ourselves with some simple things. Take a step back and look at your life with gratitude every now and then. So my dear friends, please, if possible, you can have gratitude journal, or maybe you remind yourself in the evening or in the day sometime or in the night before going to bed how wonderful things have happened and you're grateful to so many things in life. Then you can come out of the complaining mode mindset. Like you went to a place, and when things are not that up to the expectation and you're stuck there, what you will do? Try to focus your mind on something which is nice. Then you can actually not be miserable in that situation. What about coming out of the criticizing mindset? Criticism. Be in honeybee mindset. What is honeybee mindset? Honeybee looks for flower even if there is a pile of garbage. Honeybee looks for a flower to suck honey out of it, even from the pile of garbage. And a fly, even in the garden of full of flowers, will be looking for some dirt, some kind of garbage to take pus out of it. So the idea is that when we meet people, when we are living in the family, in the office, in our surroundings, we can learn to find something good in people and appreciate them, because that will uplift our emotional state. Learn to focus on good side on others, so and same way you will focus good side on yourself. And when you start focusing good on yourself, life will be beautiful. You will really break your what the blocks are there, and you start realizing your potential. And if you're stuck in a discussion where people are talking negative stuff and you're criticizing and all that, then you, if intelligently try to shift the discussion to thoughts of appreciation and all that. If you can't do it, I would suggest excuse yourself and just leave that place, because data entry, remember, if you keep feeding your mind too much of criticism and critical kind of situations, then you may also start behaving or thinking or having a skeptical at every point. So watch your thoughts. That was my first point. If you remember, watch your thoughts. And if thoughts are positive, thoughts are beautiful, uplifting, then necessary you entertain them. If thoughts are not that entertaining and beautiful, waste, if you realize they're not much meaning, mind is going into the past or mind is going into the future, or getting into the zone of criticism or comparing or complaining, just throw them into the dustbin, my dear friends. So what I'm trying to say is, it's not that difficult, if we practice it. It takes time. I agree. Here is a question, and somebody has raised the hand also. Let me deal with it now before I go further. How can one build a strong and sustaining immunity against comparing, complaining, and criticizing? We are human, and we are affected by externals in a relative manner as we progress in age. Very nice question. But after hearing last few slides, do you still have the same question, Mr. Abu? Did I not answer in my slides how we can develop immunity? I mean, I tried to explain that how you can replace those thoughts. Would you like to share something? You want to come online and say? All clear. Thank you. There is another. Heramba Das has raised a hand. Who is Heramba Das? Would you like to say something, Heramba Das? Okay, he's not there. Let's continue. Yeah. So, my dear friends, manage your self-talk. Manage your self-talk. Self-talk is very important. Start observing your self-talk. Self-talk means how you talk to yourself, how you're talking to yourself. When you get up in the morning, what you tell to yourself. Do you tell to yourself that this is going to be a crappy day or this is going to be a wonderful day? What do you tell to yourself about yourself? When you look into the mirror in the morning, what you tell to yourself? Do you say, I look old, I look, not beautiful, I'm this, I'm that? Or you appreciate yourself, try to develop that self-love, try to watch your talk to yourself. Like people have this constant noise going on in their mind, constant noise. What is that constant noise? Self-criticism noise, So please watch your self-talk. Why we should do self-sabotage? Sabotage means destroying. Self-sabotage means destroying yourself from within. So catch yourself. Uh, how many times you are actually, what you say, in a day, think or talk to yourself in a negative way. Okay. Now, this is a very beautiful concept which I'm going to share with you, and many of you may be knowing also. But please try to understand this concept. It will help you a lot in your progress in your life, because we lose a lot of our energy in life. We waste our energy, I would say, in useless discussions, useless concerns. And energy is very precious, the way we talk, the way we think, because time is very precious. So if you see here in this slide, there are two circles, red circle and green circle. Red circle, here is written circle of concern, and here is written circle of influence. So what is circle of concern? Circle of concern is things that bother you but you can't do anything about. Things that bother you but you can't do anything about. And what is circle of influence? Things you can do something about. I'll give you an example, simple example, which will make things simpler. Uh, Say you are head of the department in a college, and you're responsible for that department, let's say electronics department, and you have certain number of teachers in your department, or say professors, or what you call them, assistant professors working under you, and you have say few hundred students in your department taking education. Now this is your circle of influence, where you have influence over your professors, over your staff, and you have influence over your students, where you can do something about. So that is the area where we should be working on. That is the area we should be worrying about. We should be um, putting all our energy and thoughts. But what is circle of concern? You are the head of the department of one college, but you're worrying about 10 other colleges where you don't have any influence. And you're talking about it, oh, there is nothing happening in that college, nothing happening in that college, nothing happening in that North India. Or you're worrying, or your concern is something even much further. You're worrying at something happening in Taiwan, or something happening in Afghanistan, or something happening at the Ukraine border. Hmm. Now, to be aware of what is happening in the world is important, and sometime to have some discussions are also fine. I'm not denying that, to understand different point of views. But how much time should we waste in it, or how much time we should invest into it, rather, I would say. But when you work on your circle of influence, then circle of influence will start expanding. Let's say if you work nicely as a head of the department in your college, then it is quite possible that by seeing your work, by seeing the effect of your work, the kind of papers you have been published with the help of your staff and professors and students, maybe other colleges would like to have you and invite you to give a seminar to take some ideas from you. Or maybe you reach to a much higher level. Then you can address issues which you were concerned about, where your influence was not there in the past. So that's how we bring the potential out, by being in the circle of influence. If you are just being in the circle of concern, your potential will never come out, because we will be just investing our energy into wrong kind of talks and thoughts and worries. So this is very important concept. Please make a note of it if you really want to bring your potential out of yourself, because time and energy is very precious and it doesn't come back. Whatever time goes, it goes. Chanakya Pandit said, Ayushah Chan Ekopi na labhya swarna koti bhi. Even with millions of gold coins or millions of dollars in today's language, you cannot bring a single moment which is gone, which is wasted. So please keep in mind, when you talk about potential, potential also involves putting our energy in the focused way in our circle of influence. Now, this is another thing which is very, very important, I would say, which I'm going to share with you, which is about action and response. I was talking about reactive behavior and responsive behavior. I told you that we will explain it more. So what happens between any action and response? Many of us may not be aware that we have free will, we have freedom to choose. We don't want to behave in a reactive way. What is the reactive way? Reactive way is um, sorry, just change the slide 1 minute. Reactive way is uh, just somebody triggers the button and you just behave that way. Like the Gautam Buddha was once giving a talk, and one person came out of many, and he just got up and he started shouting at him. He started giving some bad words and abusive language, and he kept on talking. Was very jealous, shouting. Gautam Buddha was quiet, peaceful, listening to him. It's okay, keep on talking. And then he got tired. He came. He said, "What kind of person you are? I'm giving you so many bad words, and you're not reacting at all." He said, I choose my behavior, I choose the way I respond, and you are trying to give me something which doesn't belong to me. And if I don't take it, it belongs back to you. If somebody comes to me and try to give me a pen or try to give me a bottle of water, and I say I don't want it, then it belongs to you. So that's what I'm saying, that between any action and response, we have freedom to choose. We have that free will. How we want to respond. I would not use the word react. It was coming from my mouth. How would I respond if you are into a train and somebody is trying to pick fight with you unnecessarily? How you respond? Why you want to waste your time? Somebody is trying to make fun out of you. How you respond? Somebody is criticizing you. How you respond? Somebody is doing backbiting. Some bitching about you. How you respond? You decide whether I want to waste my energy into it. Somebody is inviting you for a challenge, some debate, whether you want to get into it just because that person is invited. Somebody may not choose to go for that because person may feel I don't have time for this shit. So that's called instinct versus choice. Some people just act by instinct. You have to just little bit agitate them and they're ready to, you know, be there for you. But intelligent, wise people who don't want to waste their potential, who want to really use their potential in the right direction, they always grow their free will. They use their free will in the right direction. And this freedom to choose, we all have. We have to just we have to just become aware of it, and we have to make it more strong, that internal willingness to do something. And it's like exactly like developing your physical muscles, my dear friends. And somebody was asking how. This how questions comes many times in the practical seminars. So it's same principle. You go to the gym, you don't develop your muscles in a day. You have to keep doing it, keep hitting the muscle, same muscle, every week. you know After 3 days, same muscle, you keep hitting it, and you start and give the nice nourishment, nice nutrient, and it will grow. Same way, if you keep exercising your free will, whatever level of free will you have right now, if you start using it, it will grow. It will grow gradually. But problem is that people give excuses. The people who are not responsible behavior, they try to shuck the responsibility, and you will never bring the potential out of you. I've always done it that way. I've always done it this way. That's not my job. I don't think it will make any difference. I'm too busy. That's the kind of excuses people give. I'm sure you must have met such people, and maybe sometime we behave like that also. So, when you want to talk about your true potential to come out, you have to come out of your comfort zone, my dear friends. Comfort zone means a zone where we are just cozy, we are just relaxed, and and we are not ready to take the trouble, and we are not ready to struggle. We are not ready to pursue with persistence. Just keep pushing ourselves. So please realize what is your comfort zone and what is your courage zone. Learn to take some adventures, challenges. Give yourself some challenge. Find out what you can do, which will bring you out of your comfort zone little bit. I'm not saying you burn yourself totally, just working like 16 hours or 18 hours. No, have a balanced life, but what little extra I can do. And this is the same thing which I was talking before. Stimulus and response immediately is a reactive behavior, but when your my choice will come into picture, that become responsible behavior. If any stimulus comes and your response is ready without choosing between many among many options, then it if you do it like that, it won't be responsible behavior. So you have to learn to be responsible behavior, control your destiny, or someone else will control it. Someone else will control it. That's there. And how someone else will control it? Someone else will control it means they will decide for you. If you don't have a plan, if you don't have what you say, um, awareness that what exactly uh, mm, I mean your passion. We need to decide what my passion is in life. We need to decide, yes, Hiram Das, I'm coming to you just 1 minute. What is my passion means what I'm good at. And when you start putting your energy into it, you will like to do that thing more and more again and again. Many people don't even know what they are good at because they never thought about it. They just complete their education, and unfortunately, the education system is made in such a way, which has been going on for last few decades, which doesn't give much facility to help us to bring the real potential, real nature. You know, like everybody has to study the same subjects, everybody has to pass the same kind of exams. It's like, it's a very funny kind of picture I had seen once. There was a tree, and the competition is that the different animals are there, and competition is that who will climb fast on the tree. But every animal is not made to climb the tree. Now if somebody, there are so many kinds of intelligence we have. If you study deeply, intelligence means some people are more inclined towards music. They have more musical intelligence. Some people are very good in interpersonal communication. Some people are very good in intrapersonal. They are too introspective. Some people are very good in drawing. Some people are very good in just imagining and just bringing something out of it. Some people have very high level of logical intelligence. Now, I'm just giving you a little idea. You can read about it more, different kind of intelligence. And we start rating or say giving grades to all the students with the same kind of parameters. I mean, it's a violence, I would say. So even if we have gone through that education system, unfortunately, we can take responsibility with ourselves. Okay, I'll try to find out what kind of intelligence I have among so many, because everybody is having different kind of intelligence. That's the meaning of real potential. That is another angle I'm taking now after talking some stuff about mind and senses and reactive behavior and responsible behavior. This is also very important. If you want to bring your potential out, first find out what your potential is. And what potential is not just how many degrees we have and how much money we have and which post I've got because of some cracking some exam or something. What I'm good at, which gives me pleasure, which gives me real happiness. There has to be something which gives you so much happiness that even if you're not paid, even if you're not appreciated, you are ready to, you're ready to, what do you say, do that thing. Like some people, they're happy to talk. You give the opportunity, they would like to speak. They want to share their knowledge. There's some people, they're happy to manage. You give the opportunity. You can see in the classroom, there's some children, they immediately raise the hand if you tell them who would like to manage this particular event. They will come in the front. And there's some children, they will be very excited about dance. They will be some excited about music. And there will be some student who will be very excited for some mathematics or some logical things. The same way, I mean, many of you may be knowing about your potential. Please don't feel anything, I'm targeting you. But if you have not done that exercise, first find out what you're good at. And if find difficult to do that, then please go back into your teenage and try to remember, try to go into your childhood, because in childhood our layers are not that much covered because of surroundings, and gradually they get covered. We start behaving in a fake personality, you know real personality get covered. So just try to remember what are the things you were very excited to do. Okay, I'll talk about it more. Let me take the question. Somebody's raised the hand. Yes, Mr. Haramdas, please unmute yourself and ask what you want to ask. Disappeared. Anyway, I don't know, 2 times it happened. Okay, let's continue. So now I want to tell you that please accept responsibility if you want to bring the potential out of you. You need to have the attitude, I'm responsible for who I am, for what I have, for what I do. Don't fall into the blame game. Don't fall into the trap of this person has not done this, and that because of this person it doesn't happen, and because of that person, because of this situation or that situation. Just take responsibility. And to change any attitude or any behavior, you need to take just 4 steps. First is First level is like complete ignorance, unconsciously incompetence. A very simple example, I will explain this process of changing the behavior or changing anything in your life is, first is like you are not even aware that I need it. I need to bring a change, or there is a need to change something, which is called unconsciously incompetence. You're not even aware, you're not even competent. Like, say, if I don't feel the need to drive the car, and I am also incompetent, and I'm also not very conscious about it. I don't know even where is how the gear function, and how the clutch, and how the accelerator, and how the brake, and how the steering. I just don't know anything about the car, and I'm not even interested. I'm incompetent. Okay, unconscious. But if you develop the desire that I need to buy a car now, and I want to learn car driving, so maybe you take the second step. You become conscious now. Next time you sit in a car next to the driver, you may be curious to ask, what it is, and this and that. And maybe you join a driving school later on. And once you join the driving school and you start driving the car with the help of the coach sitting next to you, still a lot of controls are with your coach who is sitting next to you, but still you're becoming more conscious, although you're not competent to drive the car, but you're trying. So this is the stage where you have to come second. Then you keep practicing driving the car, and you come to the third stage. After 21 days or 42 days of training, you are conscious of everything, and you are also competent enough to drive the car, but you are not very unconscious. I mean, you're very alert when you're driving. You're very stiffly sitting with a stiff back and just still very conscious. But if you keep driving for a few months regularly, then you know what will happen? It will get into your system. Driving the car will get into your system. And after that, you will become unconsciously incompetent. Means you will be so casual about it that you don't have to make some extra endeavor while driving the car. And that's what happens in changing the behavior. In the beginning, we are not even aware that what kind of behavior I have, what kind of thought process I have, what kind of belief system I am carrying. And then you become aware, then you start practicing to change it, start releasing it, start shifting your thoughts, start bringing your mind to the present by some mindfulness breathing or many other mindfulness techniques which you can learn. And gradually they will become part of the system, and you will be new personality. Now I want to discuss something, thoughts emotions connection, which is also very important to know. It's not what happens to you that makes you upset, it's your point of view which makes you upset. So we need to work on our point of views. Same situation, one person gets very upset, another person doesn't get very upset. Same situation. Why it's like that? Because the way person is perceiving, thinking, and understanding is totally different the way another person is thinking, perceiving. So we need to understand our point of views about situations, about surroundings, about people. Then if you change the point of view, you will not get affected. Like Gautam Buddha, his point of view was different than normal people. So that's where intellectual philosophical thoughts are required. And to go do anything in life, first thing is you have to be authentic, first of all. What do you mean by authentic? Authentic means when it comes to emotion, you start to be vulnerable. You start to be vulnerable. Vulnerable means, say to yourself, if you're nervous, say to yourself, I am nervous. Connect with your feelings, connect with your emotions. Don't deny your feelings, don't suppress them. If you're nervous or any other feelings, if you can talk about your feelings, it is much better. You can find a friend, you can find a healer, you can find a therapist. Share, discuss about it. Now, when you talk about your feelings, it doesn't mean that you talk to everybody. This is also very important to know. But there have to be some people with whom you can share your heart, being completely naked, this is what I am, this is what I am feeling. Otherwise, what happens as you grow in life and you go higher and higher in the position in the company, you become a manager or you become some kind of people, when people, so many people look up to you, like say become a minister or something, then you find difficult to, or you become a monk, become a big guru or master or teacher or something. Everybody's looking at you. And in the family, sometimes this happens that you are like, everybody's looking up to you and you don't have anybody to share your difficulties, and life becomes very difficult. So authenticity is the key. And if you have that power, you can transform yourself, my dear friends. Unless we have some space I mean here is some people or some place where I can be with myself, you will not be able to release what is holding you back. And part of bringing your potential out is also releasing what is stuff inside. Being authentic also means being honest, being gentle, and not beating yourself too much. You have to be kind to yourself. Like sometimes we do some mistake and people keep beating themselves. Oh, I did this, why did I do that, why did I do that? And they will be feeling guilty for years and carrying that heavy burden on them, on their shoulders. Give yourself another chance, move on. There's so many opportunities, there are so many wonderful things are waiting for you. So that's why I'm saying, manage, learn to observe your thoughts, then learn to shift your thoughts, because emotions are based on thoughts. If you have happy thoughts, you will feel happy. If you have angry thoughts, you will feel angry. And if you have fearful thoughts, you will feel afraid. Best of all, if you change your thoughts, you can change your feelings. And I'm telling you, this is my personal experience, maybe very limited, whatever. My personal studies may be very limited, but this is my opportunity to share with you that if we are not emotionally strong, if we are not managing our thoughts, then we will not be emotionally strong. Then we cannot take the best out of us. Like say, I'll give you a very simple example again. If you have been invited for a party where that party has been arranged for your in your honor or in your respect, because you succeeded in something, or something like you cracked some big exam or you got a medal for the country. But before going to that party, somebody very close to you comes and start insulting you and start giving bad words to you, and you feel very much, like that heavy negative energy. And if we don't have that emotional strength to handle it, how will we enjoy that party? And life is like that. Life is like so many people are throwing different energies, so many things are coming from here and there. It's like managing different balls. Like you go to circus, and in the circus sometimes they have juggling the balls. A person comes and he has 5 6 balls and he's throwing into the air, and how he's doing with 2 hands with the 6 balls, it's amazing. But if you go to the circus and you see one person come and with 2 hands he just throwing 2 balls in the air, catching them, 2 balls in there, what's the fun in it? So the life is like that, that so many things will happen. So that time, please observe your thoughts and then try to replace them with some beautiful thoughts. And how we replace the beautiful thoughts? I've been talking about it in my presentation. If you're hearing carefully, you need to, like if somebody is telling you you are not beautiful, or you are good for nothing, or like say I give this talk and after giving this talk, somebody comes and tells me it was useless. So now I have to understand that this is this person's point of view about my talk, and then I can ask him if I want to. It may not be required sometime, because even to give feedback, person has to have some knowledge in that field. So whose feedback we need to take seriously, that also very important in our life. Not that we take everybody's feedback seriously, we'll go crazy. Somebody who's our well-wisher, somebody who is having some knowledge in that area, and somebody is giving very simple kind of feedback, we can make a note of it, think about it. If there is a value in it, we feel, we work on it, and we move on. We just don't beat ourselves with some heavy negative emotion. Oh, I'm good, I'm not good enough, this, that. So that's the point. A few more things. So that's monitoring and adjusting your thinking. So keep monitoring your thinking, keep adjusting your thinking, and stubbornly refuse to be miserable about anything. If your mind takes you into the past and making you miserable, just shut it down. Just shift your mind to another activity, shift your mind to another thought. Maybe do some mindfulness breathing, maybe go to the nature, maybe chant some kind of prayers, some kind of music. Just sit with somebody who is very highly uplifting energy, like that. And then you choose to be happy. So practice shifting negative thoughts to positive thoughts. And also, by shifting thoughts, we can shift emotions from negative to positive. And what are the negative emotions? There are some negative emotions here: sadness, shame, fear, grief, guilt, depression, despair, envy, doubt, jealousy, frustration. All these are negative emotions. So we need to become aware which kind of negative emotion is coming to me right now and what I'm going through. Am I feeling guilty? What kind of guilt I am carrying for years? What kind of doubt I have about myself? Why I'm feeling jealous of envy of somebody and becoming miserable? Be aware of them. Because these negative emotions, when they come, they scream at us. They stick at us. They don't leave us so easily. On the contrary, the positive emotions, they leave us easily. And these negative emotions, some emotions can be healthy and some can be unhealthy. So we need to be aware what are the healthy negative emotions. Now you may be wondering, how can an emotion be healthy? Healthy negative emotions are an appropriate response to negative events. They make you aware of things. They let you know that something is wrong and they encourage you to make positive changes in your life. Like, say, unhealthy negative emotions have no beneficial side effects. And now, listen very carefully. Few things I'm going to tell you which will make things crystal clear. Do you feel much worse than the situation really calls for? If you're feeling much worse than the situation really calls for, that means you're falling into the trap of unhealthy negative emotions. If somebody has passed away who was very dear to us, it's very natural to feel sad. It's very natural to feel the absence of that person. That way you can heal yourself. You can just take it out, everything. It's natural, that emotional state. But to feel depressed, that means you're falling into unhealthy negative emotions. What is the depression? Depression means not understanding the reality, not understanding the reality of life. Person living in a very utopian kind of mindset, very uh, idealistic imagination kind of mindset, that this should not have happened, and how can this happen? Anything can happen. It's like this world is full of unpredictable incidences. Afraid instead of careful. Now, being careful is very nice, because if somebody tells you that particular place is not very safe in the night, so you're careful. You're not go in the night there alone. We'll go with somebody. But being afraid, that you just decide not to go to that area at all, even in the daytime with someone, like another extreme. If somebody has done something wrong, it's 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 sometimes important to be annoyed, to express your that feeling, that emotion, that I'm not happy with it, so that that person gets the message and that person improves his or her behavior or particular way of working. And you also release your stuff which you develop because of that thing is not done, because we can't suppress everything. But being enraged means like you're shouting and yelling and day after day and week after week, and you're not ready to forgive that person. That thing will destroy that person also, will destroy you also. Disappointed. If somebody has promised you that he will take you to a party, or he will whatever, will go for outing, and that person ditched you at the last moment and give some silly excuses, naturally you will feel disappointed. And there is nothing wrong in feeling disappointment, and you can also express the disappointment to that person so that it can be released. But to carry that hurt for days together, weeks together, and feeling, that person dissed me, and maybe I'm not good enough, maybe I'm not lovable. This is very common block which people carry, which doesn't allow them to grow in life, which blocks them to take the potential out of it. Person develops the feeling that I'm not lovable, nobody can love me. This is ridiculous. If somebody choosing not to love you, that's that person's choice. It doesn't mean that you have something wrong with you. And if you have something wrong, you work on it. It doesn't mean that you start hurting yourself with that. We do sometimes mistake, and it's very good to be regretful, but feeling ashamed, and then feeling ashamed to face people, feeling ashamed to do something new again. It's again, you're just pulling yourself down. But when you are regretful, it's nice, because then you will try to improve your behavior, you try to find out where I went wrong, and you're ready to move on. It's uplifting. So that's how, please remember these things. So do your feelings push you to do things that are unhealthy or that get into your trouble? Ask this question to yourself. For example, do you get into the habits of smoking or alcohol or too much of overeating? Do you procrastinate on important tasks or get into unnecessary arguments with authority figures? These are the kind of behaviors which start coming when we fall into the trap of unhealthy negative emotions. Do your feelings stop you from doing the things you want to do? If you're falling into that trap, please, that's like kind of you need some help. I mean, you need to learn some skills, you need to learn some skills to release some emotions, you need to take some healing or therapy or some kind of counseling, some kind of support system. So, another thing which I want to share before I close for today is positive emotions, because many times we don't have enough vocabulary for emotions also. If I ask you name some positive emotions, most of you may say at the most happiness, joy, I'm good, I'm fine, whatever. But exactly positive emotions, first of all, they come and go very fast. They just whisper and goes away, and we don't have that much awareness about them. We need to become more aware of them. Positive emotions are not just about being happy. We need to become more specific about them. you know and what does it mean? It means like these particular few emotions I've written here: joy, gratitude, kindness, content, hope, pride, inspiration, love. So what happens is we have trained the mind by default, because of the surrounding and society, everybody is behaving that way. That when something wrong happens, we keep that negative emotion, we keep entertaining it. If I'm feeling doubtful, that we continue to entertain being doubtful. If we are fearful, we continue to, instead of ignoring it and replacing it and working on it, we are just into the fearful mode. But when joy comes, we relish it for a few minutes or few seconds and goes away, because we don't want to relish it. If there is hope, if somebody try to gives us hope, we forget about it after some time. If somebody has been very kind to us, kindness is an amazing thing. If somebody has been very kind to us, why can't we remember it? If somebody has been very grateful to us, why can't we remember those experiences? If somebody has shown an act of love and affection, why can't we remember those things? Why can't we take pride in what we have achieved in last 10 years and 20 years and 5 years and last 1 year, instead of just focusing on what I have not achieved? Why can't we have contentment, the serenity? Because we don't entertain these positive emotions when they come. They just whisper and goes away. So this is called positive psychology, my dear friends, and I want to close my talk with this particular kind of thing. Please, before I take few questions if you have, is whenever your mind, you catch your mind, as I was talking about, I first explained what is blocking us, then I explained your body, mind, senses, and intellect connection, nature of mind, nature of different emotions, and mm, different other stuff like things we were talking about, cancers. But the main thing is observing your thoughts and observing your emotions, and then learning to shift them, learning to shift your what you say, consciousness into some other direction, and also start relishing the moments of joy, the moment of kindness, because that will increase uh, your self-worth from within. And the more self-worth comes, more self-love comes, more self-acceptance comes, we can become more confident to what we have. And part of the process also I shared with you, to find your real potential means what you are made for, and then support it with all the positivity which is coming in your life. Day and night it is coming, but unfortunately we don't catch it, we don't experience, I mean, we don't realize it, we are not aware of it. So what I'm trying to say, in short, that please have higher absorption. Higher absorption means, I'll show you one picture. This one. Let's see here. This plane is flying. It's not something big in this picture, but the point which I'm going to share with you is very important. You're sitting in the plane in the window seat, and the plane takes off from the runway. And let's say the plane is taking off in Bombay airport. And in Bombay, we have many high-rise buildings, and New York, we have very high-rise buildings. Like your plane is talking of from a city where many high-rise buildings are there. And as the plane is taking off, and you're looking from the window down, these big, small high-rise buildings start looking like a small matchbox. It is called higher absorption. When you take your mind, your thoughts, your emotions to a higher level, by focusing on higher thoughts about yourself, about life, about situation, higher emotions, different ways, different techniques are there. You can do meditation, you can do mindfulness techniques, you can do some healing, you can have some beautiful music around you, you can have some people around you, you can have some nice book to read with, so many ways which can help you to absorb into higher energy. And when you absorb yourself into higher energy, at the same time you're releasing your negative stuff with some releasing exercises. At the same time, you're very careful at data entry point that you're not allowing the negative data to enter, which I was explaining in the beginning of my presentation. And at the same time, you are constantly in touch with yourself to find out what actually you're made for, what you're good at, you're connecting with your needs and feelings. Then whole potential will be out. You'll be there out in your elements. So that's where I want to close. And I have many more videos and everything available on this YouTube channel. If you are interested, some of you, maybe you can just have a look at it. Many exercises are given related to meditation, mindfulness, and many other stuff. And I thank you very much for patient listening. If anybody has any thought or experience, or any question, we have 5 minutes we can take. Otherwise, the coordinators can just summarize it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So, thank you, sir, uh, for your outstanding presentation. You have made about how one can realize their own potential and how to handle different stresses in life, which make us uncomfortable at different point of our life. Thank you so much for sharing your time and experiences with us and providing us many guidances how we can come out the stresses by giving up the habit of comparison mindset, because as you have rightly mentioned, there are certain things which we cannot change. We have to learn to accept those things in our life, and we should learn to know how to get happiness, some small things which we can do or which we can achieve. And we have to come out of the criticizing one's mindset, circle of concern, things that bother us, and which we can do anything. But if we can give up those negative thoughts, then we can bring out our self potential to whatever field we are presently. We can do good in our future. Thank you very much, sir, for sharing your such a great thoughts with us. I'm sure everyone will agree that your presentation was really unique and refreshing and very interesting also. And it has given us lots of positive energy. Please accept our thanks for a great presentation you have given to all of us. I'm very grateful to you, sir. You have taken time out of your busy schedule to address in our FDP. Thank you, sir, for your
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
welcome,
See you
sir.
sometime in
Welcome,
person if Krishna willing. Namaste.
welcome, sir. Thank you. So we have come to end of this session. Participants are requested to join us tomorrow at 10 a.m. for our session, which will start exactly at 10 a.m. Thank you all for being with us till this time, and for supporting us in running of this FDP so far. Thank you all a lot.